Hello, I'm Jeremy Holliday, and this is my Module 5 presentation, Understanding My Community for St. George Elementary. We'll go ahead and take a look at some customs and traditions of the St. George Elementary School, Rock Creek School District, etc. So we'll go ahead and start with a supportive PTO. That is one of the strengths of our school, in my personal opinion. We've got some very involved parents, and they do some very fun things throughout the school year for us teachers. We're a very rural community with a wide range of socioeconomic status, and I'll dive into that a little bit later. Elementary schools within our district include St. George and Westmoreland. We're about 30 minutes apart, and we're both pre-K to 6th grade. And then we feed into Rock Creek Middle School and High School, which is 7th through 12th grade building there. I'd say another strength of St. George Elementary is the family atmosphere amongst staff. If you ask any staff member coming into our building about what they like working for our school, I guarantee they'd pull out that family word. We've had consistent staff for quite some time. I am probably the youngest teacher there, and I am 3 years out, so don't see a lot of turnover, but when we do, it's exciting. As far as administrators, our superintendent is in his 2nd year at the Rock Creek School District, and then our principal up at Westmoreland is in his 1st year. The former principal had been there for quite some time, and then the principal at my school, St. George, she is getting ready to retire. She's been working with us for, I believe, 17 years, so we're getting some new perspectives next year. As far as curriculum goes, we do guided reading to help us meet reading standards, and for math, we utilize the Engage New York or Eureka Math, which is a free online program. Our themes for science and social studies are just a variety of different things that we've pulled from the science and social studies standards, and it's a lot of fun. We teach our students together for theme time, and then we do some ability grouping for reading and math. The technology that we have within our school district, we're one-to-one in the high school for iPads, and as well as the middle school. Our elementary schools have iPad carts, and I think it's eventually our goal to become one-to-one in the elementary schools. As far as staff, we have a desktop computer and an iPad, and we also utilize Promethean boards to help with our instruction. Another fun activity that we do at St. George is a carnival. We actually have, it's coming up not this weekend but the following weekend, and the PTO puts it on. It's a good time. We've got a bunch of different games, and families come in, and we raise money to go into our PTO for them to support different things within our school. We also are very big on Jump Rope for Heart. Our PE teacher, Mrs. Miller, does a fantastic job of getting students excited about raising money for the National Heart Association. I believe we were in the top 5 actually for the state of Kansas last year. We've got a wide array of employment opportunities, ranging from construction workers to vets, and yeah, I'll dive into that a little more as well a little later. So the biggest change in a while is happening next year with our hiring of our new principal. We also passed a bond issue this fall that's going to be adding a 5th through 8th grade wing onto the high school to help clear up some space in our elementary school. So that's not going to be something we look at until more of the year of the fall of 2020, I believe. As far as population characteristics, I went and took a look at the census data to pull this out. 95.7% of people have graduated from high school or higher. the next fact shocked me just a little bit, as I had been assuming that bachelor's degree recipients would have been higher than 34.3%. But you learn something new every day, right? So the median age is about 32 years old for the St. George community. Population-wise, we've got about 2,600 total within the zip code of St. George. We've got 1,255 males and 1,377 females. Occupations that I've spoken of previously, we've got business owners, vets, teachers, truck drivers, college professors, so wide array like I had mentioned. As far as race goes, we're predominantly full of whites, 85.8% there, 7.2% black or African American, 6% Hispanic or Latino, and 1% American Indian or Alaska Native. So as far as communication channels, our mass communication messages we send out from the school are through email and text. We've also got a Rock Creek School website there in the blue, a little tough to read, at rockcreekschools.org. Social media, we're trying to be more active on Twitter. Our high school has been running an account for a while. The elementary school at Westmoreland recently started an account, and St. George has tried to get one going as well this year. So the individual wings, kindergarten, first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, have their own personal Facebook pages that parents can join. We also send out a weekly newsletter to our parents, updating them on what's going on in our wings. As far as press releases, our local newspapers, the Smoke Signal that you can see there to my left. Also, the Manhattan Mercury out of Manhattan. We utilize the TV station we use the most is WIBW, and we've got a few radio stations as well that we reach out to. So, as far as community groups are, like I said, our PTO is pretty involved. Our PAT group is also one that meets regularly. Staff and teachers are important part of the community. Church members, a church actually utilizes St. George Elementary to hold their service while they are looking to build their church plant out of Manhattan. We've got Kansas State University close by, so professor parents. We've got young college people coming and helping us and learning how to teach. We've got farmers in the area, and then NBAF, National Bio and Agro Defense Facility, that's being built in Manhattan, is starting to bring more people to the Manhattan area, and so they're predicting there's going to continue to be a lot of growth out towards St. George. As far as leadership, our school board works well with our superintendent and our principals to help steer our ships, so to speak. The certified staff and classified staff fall underneath those people, and then also we've got the PTO, who is a huge part of our school as well. As far as knowing community leaders' characteristics, some things that really stick out. Community leaders are assertive, good listeners, they communicate well, they're very involved and well known, and able to handle a variety of different scenarios with calmness and coolness that is to be envied. So, as far as economic conditions, we've got mainly middle class. I would say housing averages kind of surprised me, and this shows the difference in socioeconomic status a little bit. 27.8% of housing averages fell in that 150,000 to 199,999. Then our second highest housing was less than 50,000. We actually have a couple mobile homes, parks that send students to our school, and so I'm assuming that's where that 22.2% is largely coming from. The 15.3% is 200,000 to 299,999 is our third largest housing average group. So, like I said, a very wide array of socioeconomic status. We've got farmers within our school district. Like I said, we're very rural, so we see a lot of corn, beans, wheat being grown around there, cattle farmers as well. There are newer developments popping up on the outskirts of Manhattan, so eventually St. George is along Highway 24, which runs between Wamego and Manhattan, and they're predicting that eventually that's going to just be filled with housing developments. As far as employment opportunities, like I had said previously, there's a lot of white-collar and blue-collar employment opportunities. 60.6% are private wage or salary workers, 31.4% are government jobs, and 8% are self-employed. As far as political structures, we've got primarily conservative views here in the St. George community. The local school board does a good job of promoting what's best for our students, and I wouldn't say that political views come in and just totally mess with what we're doing here in the Rock Creek School District. Our school board and superintendent, like I said, work well together, and our superintendent does a good job of relaying information to the staff of things that are happening at the state legislature level. So, as far as knowing social tensions, there is little cultural diversity in our school district, as you saw from earlier statements. We do utilize the second step curriculum, which is all about teaching students to understand that we all have differences and we're going to embrace those differences. Like I said earlier, the socioeconomic status is our greatest diversity. Probably the greatest tension is within the elementary schools, just battling for resources and wanting what's best for our schools. And so I wouldn't say there's great tension there, but if I had to pick, that's where it would be. Extra sources of information, I'd pulled the building report card from the KSD website, the Census Bureau, our school website, and then I've also included the St. George website. That's got information there too. Power structures. St. George is a small community, and so I'd say the power lies in the people and lies within being involved within the community. Very straightforward and simple, but as I've been here, this is my second year living in town, and yeah, I see those things being true of those who I view as leaders within the community. As far as knowing multicultural issues, our leaders embrace the ever-changing world we live in. Teachers are teaching from an early age about accepting one another's differences, and we teach different holidays. Even one of our units within first and second grade, we talk about the ways that the holidays in December are celebrated around the world and how people celebrate differently too. As far as dress code, the staff is professional. I can wear jeans pretty much any given day, actually. I typically wear a collared shirt too, with some slacks. Definitely Friday, you'll see a lot of jeans too. Students, just those normal everyday outfits. As long as you're covering things that need to be covered, there's not going to be any issues within our school. Knowing the power structure, the State Board of Education is where it all starts, passed to the local school board, which helps steer the ship. And there's input from the superintendent and principals, obviously. Then there's district and building leadership teams, which promote changes and learning activities to the school to meet goals. And then the staff carry out the curriculum activities to help obtain the goals. Measuring public opinion and public opinion surveys, we've got our site council, which we're trying to get more involved in, the PTO, and through surveys. So thanks so much for watching, and looking forward to learning from you guys.